After Dolly Parton released a cover of the Beatles' Let It Be featuring Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr earlier this month, the song has now arrived on a handful of Billboard charts. According to Billboard, this marks the first time that McCartney and Starr share credited billing on a charting song not performed by the Beatles. In addition to McCartney and Starr, the cover features Peter Frampton and Mick Fleetwood. The song's credits on YouTube only list Parton, McCartney, and Starr, while Frampton is credited as associated performer, electric guitar, and Fleetwood as additional producer. For the week of September 2nd, Parton's version of Let It Be has hit No. 22 on the all-genre digital song sales chart as well as No. 15 on the country digital song sales chart. One of the most impressive spots the song has nabbed is No. 2 on the rock digital song sales chart. Parton's cover of Let It Be is featured on Rockstar, her upcoming cover album that will be released on November 17. Other singles from Rockstar include Bygones, featuring Judas Priest's Rob Halford, and Magic Man, Carl version, featuring Ann Wilson from Heart. Parton also released an original song called World on Fire, which will be featured on the upcoming album as well. Though he's been making music for more than 6 decades, Starr still has plenty up his sleeve. Earlier this month, fellow Beatle Paul McCartney revealed that they'll be releasing a new song using John Lennon's vocals, which have been pulled from an old demo. But while Starr wasn't known as a songwriter on the level of his bandmates, Paul McCartney or even guitarist George Harrison, he did write a couple of songs for the band and served as a co-writer on several others. Number 1. Don't Pass Me By. Ringo Starr's first recorded composition, Don't Pass Me By, was written several years before its 1968 release on the White Album. Don't Pass Me By was mentioned by the group way back on July 14, 1964, during an introduction to And I Love Her for the first edition of the BBC radio music series Top Gear. Starr was asked if he had plans to write songs, and replied that he had written one. Paul McCartney then interjected by singing Don't Pass Me By, Don't Make Me Cry, Don't Make Me Blue. Number 2. Octopus Garden. Octopus's Garden is a song by the English rock band The Beatles, written and sung by Ringo Starr, from their 1969 album Abbey Road. George Harrison, who assisted Starr with the song, commented, Octopus's Garden is Ringo's song. It's only the second song Ringo wrote, and it's lovely. He added that the song gets very deep into the listener's consciousness because it's so peaceful. I suppose Ringo is writing cosmic songs these days without even realizing it. It was the last song released by the Beatles featuring Starr on lead vocals. I wrote Octopus's Garden in Sardinia. Peter Sellers had lent us his yacht and we went out for the day. I stayed out on deck with the captain and we talked about octopuses. He told me that they hang out in their caves and they go around the seabed finding shiny stones and tin cans and bottles to put in front of their cave like a garden. I thought this was fabulous, because at the time I just wanted to be under the sea too. A couple of tokish later with the guitar, and we had Octopus's Garden. Number 3. What Goes On. Written by John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr. From the 1965 album, Rubber Soul, What Goes On is the only track credited to just the 3 Beatles, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and Ringo Starr, sans George Harrison. It's also the only track on the album that includes Starr's vocals. What Goes On is a song by the Beatles, featured as the 8th track on their 6th British album Rubber Soul. The song was later released as the 10th track on the North American-only album Yesterday and Today. It is the only song by the band credited to Lennon MC, Cartney/Starkey. Number 4. Maggie May. A traditional Liverpool folk song about a prostitute who robbed a sailor, Maggie May, as it is more commonly known, is believed to date from the early 19th century. The Beatles' recording took place on January 24, 1969 at their Apple Studios at 3 Savile Row, London. It is the second shortest song in the group's official catalogue, the briefest being the same year's Her Majesty. Number 5. Dig It. Written by John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr. From the 1970 album, Let It Be, which was the group's last LP release, Dig It is one of only a handful to be credited to all 4 Beatles. The vast majority were credited to the duo of McCartney and Lennon. The song is more of an interstitial track, clocking in at less than a minute. It's almost a quick pre-recording studio jam. Thank you for watching our video. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel.